Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Spirit. This will be Part 7, Chapter 7, entitled First. On his first day of UA, Izuku is almost late to school. He's supposed to meet Katsuki and Hitoshi and walk there, but he gets distracted by a ghost dog who keeps following Izuku and nudging his hand. It looks like it was a golden retriever when it was alive, but it's see-through now. Sorry, pal, Izuku says softly. I can't give you a treat. Do you want pets? Izuku looks around to make sure no one's watching before he kneels down, petting and scratching the dog's head. He sees a collar on the dog with a name tag that reads Taro. Aw, who's a good boy, Taro? Izuku giggles, scratching the dog's head. I bet you belong to one of my classmates, and that's why you're following me today, huh? Taro barks and nudges against Izuku's hand, and Izuku stands up, smiling as he watches Oboro playing with Taro for a bit. He forgets for a moment he has somewhere to be, cursing when he sees the time. He practically runs to the train stop, checking his phone and realizing that Hitoshi and Katsuki have been texting him for a while. Sorry, on the way. Ghost stuff happened. I'll be there soon. Moron, hurry up. Like Oboro ghost stuff or other stuff? Izuku doesn't respond, just gets on the next train and takes it to the stop that's right by UA. He hops off with 5 minutes to spare, but doesn't think he'll make it in time. The second he crosses onto UA's grounds, Izuku uses Oboro's Quirk to make a cloud, riding on it straight through the front door and up the stairs, stopping right outside the classroom. Oh, hi, Dad. Izuku grins sheepishly from where he's sitting on top of the little cloud. His dad is standing outside the classroom door, arms folded across his chest as he stares at him. You were almost late, kid. He sighs. Oboro help you get here on time. Izuku nods, hopping off the cloud. Oboro and Taro are still behind him, and Izuku feels the dog nudge against his hand. Yeah. Sorry, I had to run in with a ghost. I'll get to my seat. Izuku walks into 1A overwhelmed almost instantly by the chaos he sees. There are 19 other students in his class, and he's the last one to arrive. He spots Hitoshi, who eyes Izuku with relief, and Katsuki, who's already arguing with one of their new classmates. He spots the girl he helped out in the entrance exam, and also recognizes Shota Todoroki, the son of the number 2 hero, Endeavor. It's not his classmates so much that grab his attention, it's the ghosts. Ghosts and spirits usually aren't this noisy. Usually he's able to tune them out, but this group is loud. Taro barks and runs over to a boy with red hair and sharp teeth, barking and jumping up and down before curling at the boy's feet. A girl in the back looks like a ghost herself, but her body has an odd outline around it. Behind her there's an old woman with a kind smile, chattering to her. In the back of the room, a boy with a bird head is surrounded by a dark energy that draws Izuku towards it like a moth to a flame. It's just so loud. Almost every person in the room has a ghost attached to them, some have 2, and Izuku's head is aching already. If this is how it's going to be in every class, he has no idea how he's going to learn anything. Some of the ghosts are clearly grandparents or other ancestors, but Izuku sees a few more animal spirits like Taro, including a number of them that hover around a shy-looking boy, sitting to the side of the room. There's a loud, joyful spirit around a pink girl with horns, one that's on the younger side. Izuku sees a snake wound around someone's ankles. One of the spirits is singing. It's a lot to take in. Even Oboro looks a little upset, standing next to Izuku and leaning against the wall. Aizawa walks in to greet and start the class, but Izuku can hardly hear him. He grips the desk, willing himself not to shout and make all the ghosts stop talking. It takes every ounce of his self-control not to snap. Eventually, his dad tells them to stand and change into their gym uniforms, and Izuku sighs, rubbing at his forehead. Noisy group, Oboro comments, watching Taro bark and run in circles around the boy with red hair. You know, it might be easier on you if you help the spirits move on. It'll definitely be quieter. They're guardian spirits, Izuku mumbles, so no one will overhear him and wonder who he's talking to. Like you. They may not want to leave. In the locker rooms, Izuku changes quickly and heads out to the field with the rest of his class. He's so distracted by the ghosts hovering around his classmates that he doesn't even notice Katsuki and Hitoshi trying to talk to him. Hey, wake up, nerd, Katsuki grumbles, nudging Izuku's shoulder. You've been a space cadet all damn morning. What's up with you? Too many ghosts, Izuku grits out, rubbing his forehead. It's really loud. Katsuki snorts. Tell them to fuck off. This is your class, not theirs. Izuku doesn't reply, just rubs his forehead. He misses his dad explaining the lesson, a Quirk assessment test. He hardly notices Katsuki throwing a baseball over 700 meters using his Quirk. Doesn't notice at all his classmates panicking when Aizawa says he'll expel the person who does the worst. Izuku, you're up, Hitoshi says quietly. Baseball throw. Use your Quirk. Izuku walks over to his dad, seeing Aizawa look at him with a worried expression. Izuku just takes the baseball, and Oboro touches his shoulder. Without talking about it, Oboro and Izuku summon a small cloud. Izuku sets the baseball on it, and lets go. The cloud raises up with the ball, into the sky until it disappears. A minute later, Aizawa shows him his score, over 1,000 meters. Izuku hears gasps at that, but he doesn't respond, his head hurting too much from the outpouring of spiritual energy. Suddenly, a barking interrupts him, and Taro leaps forward, jumping on Izuku's chest and knocking him to the ground, licking his face. He knows it must look bizarre, knocked down by something invisible to his classmates, but Izuku knows it's not Taro's fault. He sighs, reaching up to scratch the dog's ears. Come on down, boy, Izuku says, sitting up with a sigh. Taro just pants, rolling over on his back with his paws up in the air, looking at Izuku and wagging his tail. The ghost problem you mentioned? His dad asks him with a sigh, and Izuku nods. Yeah, it's a dog. Sorry, Dad, I think he's bound to someone in our class. Aizawa just nods, telling Izuku to go back with the rest of the class as he calls the next person. Izuku can feel a lot of people staring at him, but he doesn't explain anything, just rubs his forehead. He watches as Taro barks, running back around the kid with the red hair, who Izuku's learned is named Kirishima. After an exhausting morning of testing quirks, Izuku's sitting at lunch with a large group of his classmates. If he thought class was loud, the cafeteria is torture. It would be loud without ghosts, but the cacophony is so much, Izuku feels like he's going to drown in it. Come on, kid. Ask Hitoshi or Katsuki to get you out of here, Oboro says next to him. You're going to get a migraine at this rate. Izu, you okay? Hitoshi asks to his left, and Izuku nods. Yeah, it's just loud, Izuku mumbles. Izuku doesn't realize the odd looks he's getting from his classmates, and doesn't know that the whispers about him have already started. He already stands out with his wispy blue hair and eyes, but his almost late arrival this morning and the incident with Taro during the Quirk assessment test has made him stand out even more. Izuku rubs his forehead again, a migraine coming along until he can't stand it anymore, clamping his hands down over his ears. He feels a cool sensation flooding through him, and suddenly Izuku knows Oboro's possessing him. The table is suddenly staring at Izuku, and he knows his eyes are glowing. Oboro turns Izuku's head to stare at Hitoshi. Come on, get Izuku out of here, Oboro says in his own voice, through Izuku's mouth. Do you know how many ghosts are in this cafeteria? Oboro, Hitoshi hisses, looking around anxiously at their classmates. Did Izuku give you permission to possess him right now? Oboro rolls Izuku's eyes. He's so overwhelmed he couldn't even think straight. Do you know how many kids in your class are haunted? Someone's dog knocked him over in the Quirk assessment test, and it's so fucking loud in homeroom that he couldn't even hear Shota. Katsuki sighs, crossing his arms and staring at Oboro, ignoring the odd looks the class is giving the three of them. You're so fucking irritating. You better not leave Izuku to explain all this, jerk. That's why I'm here, Oboro grins, turning to look at the rest of their classmates. Hey kids, I'm Oboro Shirakumo. I'm a ghost that can possess Izuku. It's part of his quirk. Did you know almost all of you are haunted by something? The table just stares, all of them in various states of shock and disbelief. This is a really weird prank to play, a dark-haired girl with earphone jacks says. Stop horsing around. Yeah, man, I know it's our first day and all, but we all saw your cloud quirk, a blonde kid says. We know that's what your real quirk is. Oboro narrows Izuku's eyes. Seriously? You see a kid being possessed by a ghost, and you still don't believe in paranormal quirks? Man, I didn't think UA would accept closed-minded jerks like you. Hey, the girl scowls. Watch it, Izuku. Oboro laughs. I'm definitely not Izuku. He'd never be this candid with anyone. Kid's shy. How can I convince you? He gasps, snapping his fingers. Kirishima, you had a dog named Taro, right? A golden retriever? Kirishima's jaw drops. Yeah. How did you know that? Well, he's at your feet right now, and you, invisible girl, I can see you. You have blonde shoulder-length hair, and your eyes are blue. Hagakure gasps, making those near her turn to look as she asks. You can see me? Yep, Oboro grins before turning serious. Now come on, guys. You're at UA now, and you're going to have to get over what weird quirk prejudices you have. Mutant quirks, animal quirks, paranormal quirks, they're all good. All quirks are equal. Also, you all need to chill, because your ghosts are freaking Izuku out. I'm going to pop out of him now, but don't tell him he's lying, okay? He deserves friends who believe him. Izuku gasps as Oboro wrenches out of him. His eyes stop glowing, and he gets his bearings. He's blushing, present, of course, for everything Oboro just said, unable to look at any of his classmates right now. You okay, Izu? Hitoshi asks calmly, and Izuku nods. He feels a wave of embarrassment, but also feeling grateful for Oboro. He knows it'll be hard for his classmates to refute his quirk after that display. Sorry, everyone, Izuku says shyly, looking at his hands. Everything Oboro said was true. My quirk is called Haunt, and I can see ghosts. Kirishima. Taro is really cute. He's been following me since this morning. Kirishima grins, looking happy and a little misty-eyed. Ah, Taro. He was an old dog when I was little. But he was the best. I loved him so much. Where is he now? Still on your feet, Izuku smiles gently before looking at the rest of them. I'm sorry if Oboro shocked any of you. He gets kind of protective of me. He's been with me since I was 4. A boy with dark hair and glasses looks a little unsure, but he says, It's fine. It was just a shock. I, for one, didn't believe in ghosts until just now. It's just a lot to take in. I do believe you. But then, how did you make the clouds? The brown-haired girl Izuku had saved in the entrance exam says, I mean, is that part of your quirk too? Izuku shakes his head. It's Oboro's quirk. When he possesses me, he can use my body like it's his own, and we figured out I can use it if he touches me. Fascinating, Tokiyami, the boy with the bird head, says sagely. I thought you were a kindred spirit, Izuku. Revelry in the dark. Izuku beams, the knot in his chest loosening a little. Not everyone looks wholly convinced, but no one contradicts his classmates. Izuku feels a bit of a headache now, not expecting the spirit possession, and he lets the conversation turn to other things, relieved when the attention is off of him. After lunch, it's heroics class, which Izuku knows will be taught by All Might. He walks into the classroom, eyes widening, when he sees the number 1 hero in person for the first time. It's not the star-struck expression from most of his classmates, though. It's shock. Around All Might are 7 ghosts. 7 ghosts that are strange. 2 of them are facing the wall, pressed against it with their backs to All Might, while the others stand next to him in an arc. It's so distracting that Izuku barely sits down in time. Strangely, the other ghosts in the classroom go quiet as well, even Taro, who curls up at Kirishima's feet with a whimper. Do you think the boy can see us? One of the ghosts whispers, and Izuku gets a shiver up his spine. He's never seen ghosts quite like them before. They seem attached to All Might in a way the other guardian spirits aren't. When All Might moves, they move. It's like they have no free will to go anywhere. Izuku doesn't understand it, but he doesn't like it. He can, Oboro tells them, all 7 ghosts turning around in sync to stare at him. Izuku isn't easily scared after his years surrounded by ghosts, but this is freaking him out. Oboro seems a little stunned as well, clearly unsettled. Do not speak of us to anyone, one of the ghosts says, a dark-haired woman. There is more at stake here than you realize. Even All Might is unaware that we are present. It is no one's place to know we are here. Izuku is so entranced by the conversation he doesn't pay attention to the lesson at all, having no idea what All Might is saying to the class. Hey, leave the kid alone, Oboro says, folding his arms and leaning against the wall. You know, he's helped a lot of spirits move on. Maybe he can help you guys. It's the wrong thing to say. The ghosts all open their eyes at once, and Izuku actually gasps, seeing a glowing gold color emit from all of them. We do not want help, they all say at the same time in eerie synchronization. Do not attempt to exorcise us, or you will die. Officially freaked out, Izuku is trembling at his desk, not realizing that the class is standing, heading out for an exercise. Izuku waits until All Might leaves the room, the ghost following him out. He stands from his desk, following Oboro and the rest of his classmates out, trying to shake off what he's just seen. You okay? Hitoshi asks him as they walk out of the room. You look kind of freaked. Katsuki hangs back to walk with them too, looking at Izuku oddly. Izuku shrugs and just mumbles. I'll tell you later. Ghost stuff. Izuku had a hard time paying attention to their training exercise. They're split into teams of 2 versus 2, a hero team and a villain team. The villains are guarding a fake nuclear reactor, and the heroes have to touch the reactor or capture all the villains in order to win. Izuku's paired with the girl from the entrance exams, with the gravity quirk, who he finds out is called Ochako Uraraka. He tries his best to pay attention, but he wants the training over quickly. He really needs to talk to his parents about the ghosts around All Might. Despite what they said, something is seriously wrong, and Izuku knows he won't be able to concentrate in class. He can see them now, standing around All Might in an arc, 2 of them still facing towards the back wall, the others face the front. In an event to end the training quickly, Izuku has Oboro possess him and call in a bunch of cloud cover. Uraraka sneaks over it with her gravity quirk and floats in to touch the reactor in less than a minute. Uraraka has made contact with the core, All Might calls over the PA. Hero team wins. Izuku sighs as Oboro steps out of him, the 2 walking back to the rest of the class to watch the rest of the class take their turns. Izuku doesn't talk to anyone, he just sits down in the corner, Oboro standing over him. Taro whines from Kirishima's side, running over to lay down in front of Izuku, resting his head in his lap. Thanks, buddy, Izuku murmurs, scratching Taro's ears. It's been a hell of a first day, and Izuku has so much to tell his parents later. All right, listeners. This concludes Chapter 7 of Spirit. Chapter 8 will be up next. Hope you all are still enjoying, and as always, thank you so much for listening.